Russia has been waging war on Ukraine for more than 3.5 years. February will be 4. And during that time, Moscow has been rolling out restrictions, blocking certain websites and apps right across the country. Briar Stewart has been looking into this. She's live with us from London this morning. Tell us more, Briar, about what your reporting has revealed. What is Russia doing to exert more and more control over people's online activities?
Yeah, Heather, well, essentially what Russia is trying to do is to kind of squeeze out foreign tech platforms, any really material that Russia deems offensive and harmful. And to be clear, this kind of effort started well before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Back in 2019, Russia had passed a series of amendments which came to be known as the Sovereign Internet Law. And what it was, in theory, was basically giving the Russian government permission to disconnect Russia from the World Wide Web and have its own kind of isolated network. Well, fast forward, 6 years from now, you have more restrictions as Moscow really tries to tighten control on the internet. And recently, it has unveiled a new app called Max. It's basically a messenger platform, sort of like Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, but it's also more than that. It's kind of a key portal which you would use to access government services. So this app now comes pre-installed on any phone that's sold in Russia. It's being heavily promoted by musicians, bloggers, social influencers. And at the same time that Russia is trying to encourage people to download this app, it is making it very difficult for users to access other platforms like WhatsApp, like Telegram. In recent weeks, what people have been saying, and what people that I've talked to have said, is that it's really difficult to even make a call with those platforms when before people could do that. Now there's like this buzzing sound making voices, basically inaudible. And it's a real problem because these are key platforms. People who are familiar with WhatsApp, I mean, it's the cheap way really to connect with friends and family, particularly those outside of the country. And I think there is a real fear that eventually Russia could try to just make these apps inoperable altogether and really force people to download their own in-house apps. And because of that, I think there's all sorts of concerns around privacy and surveillance.
What are critics saying about these moves?
Well, really, what they're saying is that they're not buying the Russia's argument for why they're taking all of these steps. What Russian authorities have been saying is that they need to bring down the internet in several regions across Russia, which they have been doing. And they say this is necessary because of the increase in Ukrainian drone attacks on critical infrastructure. But what this has resulted in is a situation where in many regions, there's no mobile internet. You cannot use your cell phone to connect to the internet, and it's created all sorts of problems. And what critics say, including one researcher that I talked to from Human Rights Watch, they believe that Russia is using kind of the situation with Ukraine as an excuse to really test just how far they can go in restricting the internet. Take a listen.
This is also very much a very convenient sort of setting, environment to experiment with things like, what if we just provide access to only things that we find good and essential, and that's it, right? So on the one hand, they can find an excuse of saying we're shutting down access because we're taking care of national security. But on the other hand, we also are seeing that they're definitely taking advantage of that for their experiments.
Now, right now, there are a number of sites that Russians simply cannot access anymore. YouTube is one of them. It's not blocked or banned per se, but basically it's been slowed down so much that you can't watch any content on there really unless you have a VPN, which is a virtual private network, which lets you kind of circumvent, these roadblocks that Russia has set up. And even with the issues of VPNs, Russia keeps blocking more of them. So it's becoming increasingly difficult for people to find ways around these obstacles.
Briar, thank you. Appreciate that. And more reporting, of course, from Briar on the network and online as she investigates this further. Briar Stewart is in London.